My life's in shambles right now. I'm $33,000 in debt. I'm going to tell you about it. For those who don't know me, I'm the Minecraft kid. You can go check out my last video for a little bit of my story. I guess you can call me Jack of all gains now. I don't know what I'm going to call this channel, what I'm going to call myself, if I'm going to release more of my identity or anything. But, this is kind of a little bit of an outlet for me, somewhere I can, talk to someone, talk about my problems, talk about my plans, my futures, my aspirations, hopefully relate to some of you guys out in the audience. So getting a little more into what has been going on. I'm 23. I suffered a raging gambling addiction, betting my life savings on e-commerce companies, on crypto, on Bet365, 17 leg parlay. I've done it all, to be honest. I've been in the online money space since I was 13 years old, binge watching Grant Cardone and Iman Gaji back in the day, all these finance videos and how-to videos, and getting sucked into those MLMs and anything that you could say, even BitConnect back in the day. I'm not sure if I'm aging myself, even though I'm 23 years old, but I got caught in the BitConnect scam back in the day. I've always gambled and took risks, and made tons of money, lost tons of money. It's really destroyed the value of money for me. The dopamine spikes. It's just been ridiculous on my mental health. It just absolutely destroyed my perception of reality, and I just want to talk about it here. Hopefully tell some stories that you guys can relate to, maybe connect with some of you guys in Discord or whatever, create a community that I can talk to and interact with, pour out some things that I can't talk about with people in person, because one, they can't relate, two, they probably whoop my ass. Like, I can't tell my dad about any of this. He'd kill me. My siblings, I don't know, it's just not something that you really talk about in person. So the question really is, I guess, that you guys have is, how did I get $33,000 in debt? That's pretty absurd, especially at 23 years old. Well, if we go back to kind of how it all started, was, I guess, the base layer here is my perception of money. As a teenager, I had successful e-commerce businesses, flipped clothes, had clothing brand, resold a bunch of stuff, iPhones or kitchen gadgets, anything, paper routes, all this stuff. I saved up a really good amount of money, started e-commerce brands back in 2017, 2018, did pretty well for myself, and then relayed that into trading. Trading, blew tons of accounts, lost tons of money, also made crazy flips like $500 into 30 grand, 24,000, got funded by prop firms, traded prop firm money, lost those accounts, did like 30 funded account challenges and all that sort of thing. It was a wild ride, and I made some decent amount of money in Forex. I was tired of blowing accounts, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bet my life savings on crypto. So I guess that was, I think, in 2020 is the first bull run I think I was a part of, or 2019. I believe Bitcoin reached like 20,000 for the first time. It was going crazy. My Twitter was blowing up, everyone was going nuts. Bet my life savings on it. Any money I made from any other business or any other hustle I had, I put all into crypto. And let me tell you, that was a wild ride, turning 60 grand into $450,000, and then having $50,000 swing days at like 18, 19 years old, and seeing it going up and down, pulling my hair out, biting my teeth. It was honestly insane. And then for it all to crash into nothing and lose everything, and then deposit my next paycheck, flip that into whatever, 30, 50 grand, parlay it into something else, and then it going to 120,000 and not being able to withdraw, and then getting rug pulled. It was just insane. Seeing numbers on a screen, losing touch with reality, not knowing it's actual physical money, and just thinking it's points in some sort of video game. It was kind of ridiculous. So then I got a job in construction. Once I lost everything for the final time, I had no more money coming in, no money to fund e-commerce businesses, no money to fund side hustles. I was completely cooked, I'm not gonna lie. So I got this construction job, got into a union here, started making really good money, got back over six figures again at like 19, 20 years old. And the timelines are a little hazy, but this kind of goes in from like when I was 15 to 20ish. So I'm at about 20 years old right now in this timeline, where I was working construction, making $100 to $120,000 a year working construction, long hours, 60-hour weeks, grinding my ass off, taking home probably $2,500 a week after tax, which was insane. It was pretty crazy, especially for me, knowing that you can do this as an employee somewhere working construction. I thought you had to own your own business to make six figures and stuff like that. So that's when gambling apps found me, and sports betting. Definitely indulged in that, betting paychecks on 17 leg parlays, spending ridiculous amounts of money on playoff tickets and going to UFC events, this and that, just absolutely blowing through it, thinking that there's always going to be a next paycheck the next week. Because the cool thing about construction is you got paid every week. I think I had this false sense of security where I was like, I'm not going to put my money in the RSP or tax-free savings account because that's too slow. No, I got crypto, I got gambling. Like, I need fast money, I need it now. So I got trapped in this cycle of dumping $5 grand into Bet365 365, dumping 5 grand into FanDuel, hitting a parlay, flipping it until 30 grand, and then losing it all, and then being like, shit, I gotta get that back. So then dumping another 2 grand, and then another, and then another. And then you look back and you see that you deposited $80,000 in a gambling app. You lost all of it, which is insane. Then I was like, screw this. Went through an early life first quarter crisis, joined the military, and I went from making 6 figures to like 40 G's. Still thought, I still had the habits of 6-figure income earner, or I still had the same habits as a gambling addict, putting my paycheck into gambling app, investing into ridiculous things, maxing out options and getting blown out, blowing accounts back to back to back to back, whether it's gambling accounts or brokerage accounts, and just absolutely wrecking myself for 3 years again, until like last year. I was just doing it over and over and over and over again, smacking my head against the wall. It's literally the definition of insanity. Literally doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And I didn't learn my lesson, and I would be so mad, miserable, asking God, why me? Why? But it was just my own doing. I was doing it to myself, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, constantly chasing this dragon. It was like worse than a meth addiction or a crack addiction. The only way I can explain it, I guess, like a Fenty addict, like, I don't know. I guess that's the same dragon they were chasing is the same dragon I was chasing at a blackjack table and Bet365 and looking at the lines and the plus and minuses, taking the over or whatever. Doing all this research on a 18-leg parlay wasn't a great use of my time. So then I was like, I had enough. I saved up, I think, $1,000, and I was like, you know what? Full leverage, balls to the wall. Let's launch another ecom brand. Done it before, I could do it again. So I made a beautiful website, grew an Instagram account to like 20,000 followers, selected amazing product. I had a background in graphic design. I used to make YouTube banners for all those FaZe Clan guys and stuff like that. All the Call of Duty YouTubers back in the day. Like, that was my thing, sword, dare, obey, all that. Little fun fact for you. That was my start in graphic design. So I knew how to do graphic design and make all my ads and static ads and stuff like that. Made a bunch of ads for my products, ripped a bunch of content, whatever. Started blasting on Facebook ads. 1 sale, 2 sale, 3 sale, 4 sale. I was like, oh, baby, we're back. I was so excited. As I started selling and selling and selling and selling, I was like, okay, increase price. My ROAS is good. If you guys don't know what ROAS means, it's return on ad spend. I was sitting around like a 1.7 to a 2.2. So I was like, all right, we're good. We're in the green. What I didn't know was that I wasn't in the green. I was losing money, which is crazy, because I was getting scammed by AutoDS and all these softwares that I had in my Shopify store, taking each of their little percentage off my sales that were coming through. And so like every sale I had, they were taking their percentage off, and I was losing money. I was like losing 10 to 20% on each sale. So then when I was running my ads thinking I was profitable, running it week over week over week, spending 300 US on ads a day as a Canadian, that's no joke for a little timer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just a little guy, spending 300 US, only have $1,000 in my bank account. Then at the end of the week, you know what I mean, you're $2,100 US, then $4,200, then $6,000 US on a credit card that I had no way of paying back. I don't know how I didn't catch it earlier. I thought I was making money. I see my Shopify account number go up. I was like, number go up, make money, very good. But that wasn't the case at all. That was such a rookie mistake. Not knowing my own numbers, cost of acquisition, cost of goods, all that dumb stuff. So that wrecked me. Here I am making $1,800 bi-weekly Canadian with I don't even know how much the credit card was. I think it was like $9,000 credit card bill. So then I'm like, okay, I have no money in my bank account with like a $10,000 credit card bill. So I was like, you know what? I must pay it off. So then I would go and take my full check bi-weekly, dump it into my credit card, pay it, the whole check into my credit card. And I'd sit there and I'd be like, damn, I have no money for food, gas, insurance. What do? Put money right back on the credit card. And it became this never-ending cycle where it's just like, dump a check into your credit card, have no money to spend, so you put it back on the credit card. And it was my lack of financial literacy that put me in this tornado of debt and spiraled. Car broke down, boom, another $4,000 on another credit card. So now you have 9,000 on this credit card, 4,000 on another credit card. It just kept spiraling and spiraling and spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. It came to a point where I was too afraid to look at my bank. So that even made it worse. I was too afraid to open up my bank app to look at the horror I was gonna see. I was scared of the number I was gonna see, and that made it even worse because I stopped paying attention to it. I was like, oh, it's gonna solve itself. You know what I mean? Because I was caught in the mind frame of, oh, you make this amount of money, you can just pay it off because there's always that next check, or there's always money coming in. I was used to the money coming in, going up, down, whatever. I was used to living a volatile, fast life. But now reality hit. I'm not living that life anymore. I'm not making that money anymore. I'm making $1,800 bi-weekly. It's not gonna get paid off the way I thought it was, like magically gonna get paid off, like how it used to get paid off. And to make the matters worse, working a government job, you'd think they'd pay you. But then I would go a month without seeing a paycheck from the military, which is insane. So on top of this tornado of debt, now I have to put a month of bills, a month of groceries, month of gas, insurance, and everything on the credit card again because I'm not getting paid. And they don't pay you interest on the money that they didn't give you, that you earned in your paycheck. They don't pay interest. But if you don't pay the government, they're taking everything you got. You miss a paycheck. Oh, sorry, it's an admin issue. Which, okay, whatever, it is what it is. You know, I guess you sign your life away, your bank account away, whatever you want away, I guess, when you work for the government. So I can't complain there. It was just a lack of financial literacy on my part and mismanaging my money. And hopefully this story kind of teaches you a couple things and tells you exactly what not to do, because I made a lot of mistakes. This is the year, you know, I'm 23 years old going into 2026, doing a 180, changing my life, and hopefully documenting that for you guys on this channel, providing some insight. I've made some mistakes. I've had some high highs and some low lows. I've left the military. You know, I've decided to pursue a career in the civilian world. I had my rehabilitation period, I guess you can say, and now I'm back to the civilian workforce. You know, I want to make money. I want to change my life, support a family, support myself, support my dreams and aspirations, start a new business. I've matured a lot in the last couple of years, and I want to document that for you guys. I want to put it out there. I want to put myself out there, out of my comfort zone, and really make the most of these next couple of years and my 20s. You know, being trapped in the military, doing things, going where they say, going to sleep where they say, when to eat, how to eat. I'm just tired of it. You know, I want to live on my own terms. I want to make my own money, change my life, do it completely 360 this year, and I'm excited for it. I've got a new job in sales. I learned a lot so far in the last couple months. I made some decent progress and made some decent money in a short period of time, and it's exciting. Change is exciting. I may be in debt and my life is in shambles now, but I see the light at the end of the tunnel. And if you're going through something similar, maybe you're going through something completely different, just see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm keeping my head high, my faith strong. I'm just attacking the next 6 inches in front of me, and you should do the same. Day by day, step by step, week by week, month by month, year by year. Where am I getting at here? What's the lessons I learned? Live below your means. Know your numbers. Pay attention to your bank account, your spending habits. Be real with yourself. Be responsible and mature. Don't go out and splurge. Gamble what you can. Gambling's fun. It can be fun, but make sure you have it under control. Everyone has a vice, but make sure it doesn't spiral out of control. Make sure you educate yourself on financial literacy and debt, how money works, how credit cards work, how interest works. Find a strategy. Have a financial plan. Don't be so short-sighted. You know, you only have one life. Take control of it. If you stayed this long to hear me ramble your ear off, I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your week, whenever you're watching this. Look forward to seeing you at the next video.